everyone, and welcome to the Popcorn Bucket List, the podcast that keeps your movie bucket list up to date because those 1,000 movies to see before you die lists are just too daunting. I'm your host and cat bust enthusiast, Gracie.
And I'm Daryl, the quote-unquote evil sea wizard.
And I'm Sarah, a tiny fishy in the sea.
You know what? Keep that intro. That was perfect. I don't care. Welcome.
Like, you've been waiting to say that for years.
Yeah.
At this point, it feels like.
I know. Sarah's been waiting for the tiny fishy in the sea for decades, I feel like. Officially, almost a year now. We've been recording for almost a year, with an occasional hiatus every once in a while. But welcome back. We are here to continue our Hayao Miyazaki marathon. I hope you guys did your homework because today we are talking about our favorite 5-year-old Ghibli protagonists, the stars of My Neighbor Totoro and Ponyo. So these films debuted 20 years apart, but are a perfect combo together as a comforting double feature. I can't read my own writing.
The surf and turf of Studio Ghibli, if you will.
It landed a lot better the first time around. But you know what? We're committed to the bit. But it's been a while, guys. I'm so excited to get back and, chatting with you guys. We took a little break for various reasons, Mardi Gras being probably the biggest. And, travel, weddings, things that just happen to coincide with our life and ruin our not only podcast schedule but D&D schedule. So
yeah, everything happens on a Monday for some reason.
That was just the only day, Daryl, you ever agreed to.
This is hey, I said weekends were fine, but
yeah, but weekends are not fine for me.
See?
Well, it doesn't matter. We're back, and I'm so excited to actually get to jump into Totoro and Ponyo. But yeah, Daryl, do you want to kind of take us off?
Yeah, sure. I can talk a little bit about like the history of at least Totoro, a little bit about Ponyo. So Totoro and Ponyo are kind of similar in that they're both kind of like kids movies. Totoro was actually Studio Ghibli's like film that they made before they were an independent company, because at the time they were actually owned by Tokuma Shoten, which was a publishing company. So yeah, for a long time they just worked for other people. Basically, they just made movies for other folks. And at the time, it's crazy because they finished that movie they finished animating in 8 months with only 8 animators, which is insane.
That's crazy.
Like, they just had 8 people just going at it on the drawing or whatever you want to call it when they're trying to animate, which is just fascinating to me. And also, like, Totoro was like distributed by Troma Entertainment, and the reason why that's interesting is just because they were known for low budget horror films like The Toxic Avenger. Mm-hmm. So it's really weird that they ended up actually distributing the original film when it first came out. This is also the same Troma Entertainment that started James Gunn's career. James Gunn of Guardians of the Galaxy, Suicide Squad fame. Like, he did a lot of work with them for a while. So I just thought that was so fascinating. But their rights expired, and when Disney picked up the rights, they re-released the film with a new English dub with Elle and Dakota Fanning. But yeah, the Troma Entertainment version actually did have an English dub, but I guess nobody cares about it anymore because they weren't done by the Fanning sisters. So, but yeah, that came out in 1988. So yeah, that was 20 years before Ponyo, which came out in 2008, and yeah, that one was another film that was kind of like, it was basically inspired by Hayao Miyazaki seeing like lots of his coworkers just having kids, and he was like, I want to make a movie for kids, for all the kids in my life that keep showing up out of nowhere. So let's make a little tiny kids movie. He also wanted to make he really wanted to do like a little like daycare at Studio Ghibli, and that was like his excuse to do it. He told his boss, like, hey, I want to make a daycare for these kids because I think that'd be really cute.
Like,
and like, okay, well, we're making Ponyo, which is a kids movie, so yeah, let's just do this. We're going all in on the kids stuff. So I just think it's interesting that those two films are so like specifically directed at children.
The other interesting thing I thought was Ponyo is basically the Little Mermaid. I mean, it was definitely uh more like Hans
Hmm.
Christian Andersen Little Mermaid than Disney Little Mermaid, but it's just kind of like a almost in its own way, like especially because like Disney is the one that distributed it. It's like its
Yeah,
own
it is
little
kind
homage
of.
to its
And he
own
was, and
self.
Miyazaki is a
you
fan of
know?
Disney films in general, and that's
Yeah.
one reason why they had that partnership. So he was definitely
Mm.
influenced by Disney. So that fits. That tracks.
Because I remember watching it because I watched it with you, Daryl, for the first time, and um, I remember watching it and going like, "This feels very like
Hmm.
Disneyfied. Like it felt very Disney," and I was surprised at how much and when it came out, I missed
Same.
like the excitement for it. I don't know why. It just yeah, and so like I was like, yeah, I would have loved this as a when it came out probably, but I just missed it, and I was so mad that I missed that because it was so cute and I loved it. I mean, it had a little Jonas brother in it. Like, who wouldn't be excited about that? I think that's where I saw the advertisements for it was a Jonas Brothers concert, and I'm not afraid. I'm not. You know what? I'm not even embarrassed. I was at a Jonas Brothers concert in 2007
With the
probably,
littlest
and they were
Jonas.
advertising for this. So, because they like advertised the heck out of that film.
They
I
did.
felt
I
like I
actually
saw a
remember
lot of
that one.
adverts. Yeah.
Like I don't remember any other other than like maybe Spirited Away. I don't remember seeing advertisements for any other Ghibli film. Or well, Kiki's Delivery Service because I saw it on like my VHS tapes. Um,
Yeah. VHS throwback.
yeah, but never saw any like trailers except for Ponyo, which I still find really weird. It's like of all the movies, like Ponyo's the one I saw trailers for. So
And didn't go see.
yeah, I
Advertising didn't work on us.
clearly it didn't. I clearly did not care at the time. Well, I mean, to be fair, it's directed towards little kids. It's not directed
Yes.
towards me, a 27-year-old man.
Yeah, the
Although,
protagonists
like,
are 5.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, although that film has like the best score in any Miyazaki film, it is incredible. It is like it's like a beautiful just piece of classical music. It's like Peer Gynt. It's like telling a story the whole time. It's amazing. I'm like, oh my god, they went so hard on this soundtrack for no
Was it
reason. The kids will not appreciate this the way I do. It's
was
just
it Joe
yeah, Joe Hisaishi,
Hisashi?
I think.
Hisashi?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know I
There's an
pronounced his
extra I
name
in there. I
wrong.
missed his
Yeah,
I'm gonna let me listen
just
to
put a
Wikipedia.
hiss and then just keep on, just
Yeah.
keep on adding letters.
Is
I'm
it
sure
gonna
that's
tell me
very
how to pronounce it?
respectful.
They normally tell me how to pronounce it?
They might.
They no, they didn't. It's okay.
Oh well, we'll
It's
call him
fine.
Joe. We'll call
Look,
him Big Joe. So
yeah,
yeah, this
but
is
because he's done all the other ones.
yeah,
Like
he's
he's
done
done like
all of Miyazaki's films.
yeah, back even to like Nausicaa. Like
Yeah, I mean
yeah.
back even into Castle in the Sky, I think, which was before Nausicaa. I think.
Mm.
I don't think he did Lupin. I didn't. I've been looking up his scores. I don't remember seeing Lupin on there, but he did. At least everyone's his Castle
He,
in the Sky, which is pretty impressive because they're all good. Every single, even his first one was like, oh my god, this is a great score. It's such a great theme for that movie
he
and
did
for
he
this
did
one.
Lupin. He did Castle in
He
the
did Lupin.
Sky was his first.
Okay,
No, it was Laput.
Laputa. Yeah, that's Castle in the
Yeah,
Sky.
Laputa. Yeah, Castle in the Sky, and then yeah, so that was his first one.
Okay, what a wonderful partnership. They've been doing that for 40 years. That's
Yep.
crazy.
Like Steven
Like I know
Spielberg
that.
and John Williams.
Yeah,
Yep.
because I know that Miyazaki, Big Joe, and his producer, whose name I've forgotten, they all basically have been like working together since then. I just think I love that. I love like long lasting collaborations.
Mm-hmm.
It's always very impressive to me.
Yeah, he's pretty much done every big Miyazaki film. So
Mhm.
interesting.
I've been listening to his music a lot recently I guess for my own knowledge for our podcast. It's just fun to listen to.
I'm still on Nausicaa. That's like my favorite one to jam out to.
Like you definitely listen to Castle in the Sky because it has kind of a similar vibe. It used a lot of
Mm.
synthesizer also, but in a different way. Like I saw,
Interesting.
this is not about either of those movies. I'm just pointing it out because it's just interesting to me. Is that like
We're on a yeah.
he uses lots of synthesizer in The Castle in the Sky. In Castle Sky and My Neighbor Totoro, but it feels different than how it's used in Nausicaa, because in Nausicaa it's very like kind of violent and abrupt. So when you're listening to to Nausicaa soundtrack, you're just like, oh, this is a nice song. Oh my god, there's synthesizer. What is happening? In the other ones, it kind of flows a little more naturally because it isn't so much about like the distortion between like man and like nature. It's more just about like man and nature coexisting in a way. So I don't know. It's very interesting. It's much more playful in Totoro, where it's just like, here's some kids' music. So
It's very fairy tale esque.
exactly,
in Totoro.
yeah. And Ponyo doesn't have like any synthesizer at all. It's just like classical brass and violins, and it's just an epic, grand, unexpectedly beautiful score. I think about it a lot. I really like it. I'm a big fan. I wish I could talk more about music. I don't have the vocabulary to discuss it as well, but I really, really like that score.
Yeah, it is brilliant.
Oh my goodness.
I think it's also just like crazy the people that they get to do the English dubbing for these. Like Tina Fey. That's hilarious to me. Aside like Matt Damon, Kate Blanchett, and Liam Neeson. Like, how can you put
Liam Neeson
those four people
got me.
in a movie together? Like, where else?
And you got Betty White.
Betty White.
Rest her soul.
Rest her soul. And Lily Tomlin, a.k.a. Miss Frizzle. Oh.
Yes. Love a good Lily Tomlin. And the Totoro English dub has some big note. I think it has some note.
Yeah, it has
words,
Elle and
notable
Dakota
names.
Fanning.
Yeah,
as the little
it has
little kids.
the Fannings. Yeah, and then Pat Carroll is the granny, who is the voice of Ursula from Little Mermaid.
Mm-hmm.
So another
cool.
callback to Little Mermaid. Yeah. And also I think the voice of there's another Disney princess, Mulan and Jasmine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she is the.
Oh, I didn't know that she sang for both of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Who did she play? I can't remember. I'm like just looking at the list of names of people.
She was Yasuko.
I don't remember.
That was the mom.
We watched these so long ago. The mom, yeah.
Oh, the mom. Okay.
Yeah, the mom. Yeah. Oh, the invalid mom that I was. That was originally going to be my title for the episode.
You know her. You know her. Yeah. You love her. The invalid mom.
Nondescript sickness.
Tuberculosis.
The big one, yeah. I really liked about Totoro was that it felt so authentically fairy tale.
Mm-hmm.
Like it felt almost, and I don't really know a whole lot about like theming for it. Like I didn't read a lot about the theming, but the it felt like almost like a utopia kind of society. Like it felt like, you know, like this is our dream world, like this is where we wish we could be, you know, like that kind of thing. And and like the, you know, the hardest thing in our life is that we have a long commute from the city, and, you know, our mother is sick and this is the closest we could get to her, and it was like 3 towns over, you know, like I don't know. And it's just I like the sisterly bond between the two of them. I loved like the like idea of like the annoying little sister that they definitely come across, and almost making it hard at first to kind of sympathize with the little sister. Like they definitely try and like, you know, you're like, oh, you know, she's following me around, but she's such a good big sister. She like totally lets it happen, and she's like, it's fine, it's fine.
Yeah, she's definitely a better big sister than I was a big brother. She put up with a lot. I was just like, no, stop.
Yeah, I was like,
leave me
go
alone.
away. No. Don't hang out with me and my friends at school, please.
Exactly. Don't even look at me.
Totoro is also like very interesting to me in that like I feel like it's one of the few movies of Studio Ghibli that like you're not really sure what's real and what's not. Like in Ponyo, everyone sees the fish with a face. and accepts that there's a
Yeah.
fish with a face. Like, they see the fantastical weirdness and they're like, yeah, this is happening. But like with Totoro, when there's
fine.
like the scene when they're like, you know, growing the like big trees and stuff at night, and then they wake up the next morning and they're just little like sprouts, and no one else really sees Totoro, no one else really sees Catbus. It's all like the kids only see him, which is like really not common in Studio Ghibli movies. Like, normally whatever weirdness is going on is really there and everyone sees it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the magic of childhood is like very prevalent in that movie, more so than his other films.
And like child magic, like, oh, if you don't believe in fairies anymore, they don't exist kind of thing. But with Totoro, like, it's just the kids that can see him.
And it just feels like such a like honest child fantasy. Like, who didn't want a giant fluffy cat to lay on top of that like just growled at you and then turned over and then gave you a like jumped up and down. Like, I mean, who didn't want like that kind of fantasy, like imaginary friend? Or Catbus, which I love Catbus. He's my favorite character out of all Ghibli films. and I have a cat named Gigi, so from Kiki. But oh my gosh, yeah. Or the like little mini version of Totoro that I don't know if he has an official name, but it's like the little mini ones that run around after him.
I think they're also called Totoros, actually.
Yeah, they're like,
because I think they all have the same name. It's like Totoro and Little Mini Totoro.
Little Mini Totoros.
Everything just goes by its species name. It's just Catbus.
Yeah.
I still think they should just call him Big Meat Totoro instead. I feel like that's a good name.
Big Meat.
Yes, Big Meat Totoro.
He's the turf of our surf and turf.
Exactly. He's the steak of this dish.
Yeah.
You might think that Ponyo is the fish. No, it's Liam Neeson.
It's
Liam Neeson is definitely
Liam
the
Neeson
fish.
is the wettest fish in this movie. Literally watering his feet.
Yes. That was such a funny moment. Like, because at first I was like, what is he doing? Like, I was like, I don't get it.
That's so funny.
It's like, I just don't want to dry out. Jesus, leave me alone.
This is the finest seawater. I think it was perfect. I know it was weird hearing Liam Neeson go out of that man, but I thought it was perfect.
It wasn't that it was weird. It was just like, I wasn't expecting it, and every time he was on screen, I wasn't expecting Liam Neeson. Like,
yeah.
I think that was why. And maybe it was, I don't know, maybe it was because I had just watched Phantom Menace or something like that, and I was like picturing Qui-Gon every time he talked. And I think it's also because he's kooky, and like you don't really get to see Liam Neeson play kooky, crazy character, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's not very Liam Neeson
but
of him.
He has lost his daughter, so it is on brand.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
very on
basically a
brand.
Taken prequel. Every
this
movie
man needs
is
to get a hold of his daughters.
Man,
Oh
if
my
Anakin
gosh.
had gotten kidnapped in Phantom Menace, just imagine the chaos that would have ensued in that movie.
Someone should have warned Shmi before she handed off Anakin.
It's like, he gets to lose kids a lot. And then he
Loses kids
kills
all
a
the
lot
time.
of people.
No one dies in Ponyo. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, nobody dies in Ponyo.
No, a lot of people died. There was a ginormous flood. Don't tell me that
No,
everybody
they all
else
made it.
About that gigantic flood that everybody survived, and we're pretty chill about. They're pretty cool about the fact their entire town was just
and their entire
leveled.
retirement community was underwater. Like,
yeah, it's
I
like,
get
we
that
lost all
Liam
these old
Neeson and the
people.
mom save it, but oh my god. I really liked the world building of Ponyo though. Like, I felt very like I got it. Like, it felt, whereas like Totoro, you only get to see like a little bit of their world. Like, you see it from their perspective. Ponyo, you see it like from the grandiose perspective. Like, just like watching is it Satsuki? or Sosuke.
Which
Sosuke
one?
and Ponyo.
Sosuke is
Because
Ponyo.
there's two.
Yeah, Sosuke's and
Ponyo,
Ponyo.
yeah.
Sosuke.
His mom, yeah, Sosuke's mom driving through the town is like such a great like experience because one, you're like, oh my god, this woman is wild. Like
she's gonna kill
she
everyone.
is psycho, and no wonder she just lets a child come live with her without even talking to her parents.
It's like, you're an orphan now, right? Good.
Yeah.
Get in the house.
Take you in, it's fine. It's fine. But like it just giving you like that instance to see like the world and like how, you know, you fit into it and like, you know, she fits into it is such a beautiful sequence, I guess. Like her trying to like beat the ship before it docks.
And everyone
Yeah.
knows
And they're
that
like,
she's
no,
this
no.
crazy lady. They're like, come on, Lisa, don't even think about it.
Yeah. And you just like you get a lot from like the town and like the townspeople and like how each of them kind of slot into this like wonderful little story. And it kind of works together. I also love the idea that the retirement home's right next to the child care home.
And
Like
he
that
just
works out
sneaks
so
through.
beautifully.
It's so cute.
Yeah. It's just a really like I fell in love with that world more than I thought I was going to. And cuz I love the world of Totoro. Like I love the whimsicalness of it. It reminded me a lot of like Kiki, so that was probably why, cuz Kiki is like my childhood Ghibli film. And so for me Totoro felt very reminiscent of that world. And yeah, whereas like Ponyo took me out of what I thought of Ghibli and was like, I'm gonna give you this like almost realistic, you know, island life, you know, wife of a sailor, you know, like a seafaring, you know, worker, you know, who she's really
Brandy,
pissed off
basically.
about, you know, and she's really mad at him for taking another ship. Like, I'm sorry, man, but you have a gorgeous house on the sea. Like, he's got to pay for it somehow, and you just took in a child without asking him.
Bug off. I love it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think it also just like the adults in that film, you get more from the adults in Ponyo. Because like if you think about like Totoro, you don't really get like you get a little bit from the father and
I
more
love
so
the
from like
dad
the
in
granny.
Totoro. I do. He's number one dad. The scene in like the bathtub.
I was just thinking about that one.
So
I watched that again
Bathtub.
yesterday. I
It's
like
so
that scene.
cute.
Just
Yeah.
him laughing like out, you know, just
He just
so
starts
hard just to help his
laughing
kids.
hysterically. He's like, if you laugh, it won't be scary. It's so cute.
Scary. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that I was kind of realizing rewatching Totoro, because it'd been a lot longer since I'd seen Totoro versus Ponyo, was like how similar they are, especially like with their characters and stuff. Like one, like Ponyo's mom, or sorry, Sasuke's mom and Mei and Satsuke's dad are like the best parents ever. Like they're just so wholesome and amazing, and like just the way they interact with the kids is just like so absolutely perfect, and like it feels a lot more real than I've seen like a lot of like parent-child interactions in a bunch of movies. Like they're just so playful and fun, and like the ramen scene when she like is like, close your eyes, no peeking. Like it's just they're so adorable. And then they also have like their other parent is like away for most of the movie, but like not by choice. It's like, you know, he's got to be at work or the mom is sick, and like they have like that parent that's not really around, and so the other one has to like take up most of like the mantle and everything, which is just like, you know, very interesting.
And you get the feel of like it wearing on them, like it's hard on the parent, you know?
Yeah, the other one. Yeah, you see it a lot with the other. You see it more in Totoro with the kids. Like Sasuke's just kind of ready to be like man of the house, and he like takes on that mantle in Ponyo. Whereas in Totoro, like the sisters are like much more affected by their mom being gone because she's sick, not just at work, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, and even like the main character kids are so similar. Like Satsuke and Sosuke are like, you know, trying to be like grown-ups and like take on the mantle and like show the other one around and like have all the answers and like be that older, more helpful child. Whereas like, you know, Mei, because she's so much younger, and Ponyo because she's like from the sea, don't really know what's going on in the world and need like a lot of help and hand-holding, and like they're much more childish. And I just thought it was like very interesting where like the whole family dynamic in both of those movies were like basically the same.
Mm-hmm. It is interesting, and it's fascinating because like at the end of the day, Totoro is like a sadder story. At least initially, it feels like a little sadder because the mom is sick, and it's kind of cool.
And you definitely
'Cause,
don't believe that she gets better at the end. Like when you're watching it as an adult, you're like,
like no, she's dead.
yeah,
hopeful, but no concrete evidence here.
I mean, in
Yeah,
real
you're like,
life,
sure.
in real life, apparently Miyazaki's mom actually did have TV for like years and years and years. She had it. So in his childhood, he was growing up without his mom for a long time. She got better eventually. So apparently that's a thing that does happen, is that back in the 1950s, if your mom had tuberculosis, she could survive. I know it's weird to think about.
I always thought that I know, like, at least in the early, like, long time ago, like when you had TB, you would like look like you were getting better, and then it would hit you again.
Die.
And then you just die. So in my mind, that was probably where I was like, yeah, she's having a good week, but she's gone next week. And like, maybe that's the cynic in me. I don't know. Oh my gosh. Can we talk about how useless Totoro is, though?
we talk about this man doing nothing. Being
he
a
literally
husband.
does absolutely nothing in that entire film. Like
he helps the sprouts grow.
I guess.
It's time to rag on Totoro.
like, does he really, or do they just water the sprouts and they start growing? Like,
I mean, they grew pretty fast.
I mean, like, but like, really, he just calls Catbus to do his work. Catbus doesn't care about May. He's like, I suddenly have to deal with this like child, and you know.
I mean, I think Totoro is clearly like a manager.
Yeah, because the
Cat
little
was just one of
guys
his
are the ones that are spreading the seeds everywhere. They have their little pouch of seeds.
Yeah, those are his interns.
Yeah, he's a manager.
He clearly doesn't pay them.
Obviously
he doesn't
not.
pay them.
He pays them in seeds, and then they are forced to put those seeds in the ground.
He gives them. He
Totoro's the manager that says, we don't have that, go to the store next door, and that's Catbus. And Catbus has to work twice as hard because Totoro doesn't want to do his job.
And you see Catbus having to stretch open to get Totoro inside. He's like, Jesus, can you stop?
Also, can we talk also about the fact that we found out that Catbus has testicles?
He's got a couple little balls just there. And he has a belly button too, which is interesting. But more importantly, the balls.
Yeah. The anatomy of Catbus is very, very, like, someone thought hardcore about that anatomy. They're like, do we add little tiny testicles to this animation for children?
Does he have a butthole too? Now I want to know. I feel like he does.
Do you ever see the back of Catbus? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Catbus is inspired by the Cheshire Cat, though, which I think is interesting.
Which also has a butthole.
Which, yeah, he has a butthole.
I just assume.
I don't think the Cheshire Cat has testicles, though.
Where are your balls? What have they done to you?
Not in the animation.
I'm
trying to, like...
That's why he's always smiling, because he's like, internally he's very upset. He just puts on a brave face.
So, I think okay, so this was what I wanted to read. In Wikipedia, the character description for Catbus is, Catbus is a large 12-legged creature in similar structure to that of a feline and of a bus.
As if those two always go together.
Yes. It's very self-explanatory.
Yeah, it's a bus and a cat. What else do you want?
It's so, like, childlike that I love that. Like, it's just like, you know, like the I don't know if it's a trope or not, but like they say like when you look out the window as kids and you used to see like a little thing running aside you, like running, and like
right.
everybody's like, oh my god, everybody had that, you know. I'm like, that feasibly could have been Cat Bus
It was
for some
always Cat
child,
Bus.
you know. It was always
100%.
Cat Bus, and so I love the idea that like Cat Bus feels very fantastical, and like a child went, what if a cat was also a bus?
I love that he also
together.
doesn't have a
Project.
door, but just that one of the
No,
windows gets
he
bigger.
just
He
like
just has holes.
Yeah.
On the side.
he just like molds around something, you know.
And he has like furry like seats on the inside, which I'm glad they're
Ugh.
furry, not like wet, like
Wet, like
like
intern.
like
That's still his
organs.
outsides. It's just
Yeah, because
his
like how
outside
does
is
Cat
still
Bus
on his
eat?
inside.
I need to know how Cat Bus
Yeah,
eats.
where are your
like,
intestines, Cat Bus? These are the real questions. We see
And
your
if you have a
balls.
butthole,
Where's the
yeah.
rest?
And then if he has balls, that definitely that definitely means there's a lady cat bus somewhere, and that means there are mini cat buses all
Yeah,
over
lots
that
of little cat buses.
countryside. Like,
Do you think when they're babies they're just cat cars?
Oh, that'd
oh
be
my
cute.
god.
Like their
So
legs
good.
just like little wheels instead.
Wheels.
Like, I just love that.
I don't know how legit this is, but it's right here it says Cat Bus was used as a design base for the six-legged sky bison Appa from Avatar.
That makes sense. I mean,
I don't know
Love
where that
Appa.
like tidbit comes from, but apparently this is referencing the DVD box set of The Last Airbender. So
I
Ooh,
have
I
that.
have
in a
it. So I'll
commentary.
go check that out.
Yeah.
Let's go watch it
Go
real
watch
quick.
the commentary, please, for us, so you can fact check that
Yeah.
for me. But like Cat Bus, like in my mind, like Cat Bus is what I would want like hanging on my wall. Like if I have like memorabilia, I want Cat Bus. Like, but like people say Totoro is like more famous than Mickey Mouse over there.
Yeah.
Like
That makes
He
sense.
is.
He's
Like-
kind of like Mickey Mouse and Pooh Bear just rolled into one. He's just
Yes.
super iconic.
He just doesn't
and
talk
also
very
just,
much.
Like,
angry Pooh Bear.
angry.
Angry.
He's grumpy Pooh Bear.
I love it.
Just let me sleep, or I'll scream at you.
Ah.
I do love
Oh,
that's his
my
whole
goodness.
thing is he just yells. He's like,
He just wants to sleep.
"Arr, I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah.
Let me scream at you some more now." He's like, "Hey, Cat Bus, show up. Get these kids out of my hair, please. They've been bothering me all week."
And like the scene in the rain in Totoro is just so beautiful. Like it's like awkward and like because I think isn't that the first time that the older sister sees Totoro?
Yeah.
And so it's like I'm just like picturing myself as like what like a 5 or 6-year-old, and I'm going, yeah, I'm standing at a bus stop. Like I don't think I would have ever stood at a bus stop by myself. But then again, I didn't live on a countryside,
First of all,
so
what's a bus? Why would I be
yeah,
on
what's a
that?
bus? Let alone what's a cat bus? But like just like picture like that moment is so whimsical and just like to me like that's what makes the whole movie is like, you know, him sitting there with his little leaf and her with her little umbrella, and it's so cute. And she's like carrying your little sister, I think, as well, isn't she?
Mhm.
Like in that whole
Mhm.
scene because she's falling asleep. It's such a big sister. I love it.
One of the things I like about that scene is that, like, in the original Totoro poster, it's just Satsuke. It's just the
Yeah,
one kid.
May's not in that
'Cause that
poster,
was like
yeah.
that was like, and it's not even like the version we see in the movie. It's an early version before there were two kids. But I just
Mhm.
find so interesting. It's like, wow, y'all had your advertising out way before the movie was even finished being conceptualized.
Mhm.
So it's just one of those weird things where every time I'm like, oh, there's only one kid here. It's not even the same kid, just some random kid. But Totoro is always the same. Totoro is eternal, I suppose.
Totoro is forever.
That's crazy. I never really noticed that, but I know I've seen that poster so many times. Like I've seen the one you're talking about, and
I was looking at it and I was like, May isn't on this poster, and I just didn't really think about it. So I was like, maybe she's in the background and I just can't see it and I'm blind. But no, that's right.
wow,
So,
that is wild.
Weird. And like I feel like Totoro is also like when you think of Studio Ghibli, like most people will go for Totoro.
I mean,
Like,
he is
that's
like
what you
their
think.
official mascot. Every time you
Official
watch a movie,
mascot.
it's like
It's
You
his
see
little
him.
face
Yeah, you
is
see him
the
and like the
yeah.
little other
Yeah, the
Totoros.
logo is like the little side profile, and then it says Studio Ghibli, and he's got the tiny Totoro on his head.
And it took me until this year to see it. So
And now you know why it's
now I
so.
know.
Now you know why the phenomenon is.
And now I'm anti Totoro and
and
pro
Cat
Cat
Bus.
Bus.
You don't have to be
can't be for
anti
both of
Totoro
them.
to be pro Cat Bus.
You're either with us or against us. There's no in between.
So. Another big one I really liked is the art style. Like the art style is drastically different between the two. Like I felt like, there's definitely 20 years of like difference. Um Totoro feels very watercolory, very like, hand drawn. And I know like I'm sure Ponyo is also hand
Yeah.
drawn, but like Ponyo feels a lot more like elaborate and depthy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think
Whereas like
Ponyo...
Totoro feels very like landscapey.
Yeah, they definitely
know.
used like computer generated stuff for other movies, but they like made a point to do Ponyo hand drawn again.
Yeah, and I know that like the background artist was like he was like the supervising art director for Ponyo, and he was like I knew like that I can finally say this trivia that I have on here, and I'm like, yeah, it's cool, I can say my trivia. He was originally supposed to like match Miyazaki's style, so like the background you would have seen in Totoro, he was supposed to kind of do that kind of stuff. But he always had trouble mimicking that style, so Miyazaki was like, you know what, this time just do your own thing, do whatever you want. And so he made this like cool like coloring book kind of style instead, which is really really cool to me, because it's like it's one of those cool instances where like the director's like, no, just go do what you want to do, like make like I'm gonna give you an entire creative decision that's gonna affect like the entire movie. It's gonna affect the entire design of one aspect of the movie. He just let him do it himself, and that was cool to me because it was his first time being like the head of that department. It's like, all right, here you go, make your little crayon drawings effectively, where like there are no like straight lines, there's always curves on everything. Like when there's like the storm, the house looks like it's tilted, it's like curved and everything, and I'm like, that's so cool, I love that kind of stuff. So
Which
it just
is
looks
absolutely
different.
Yeah, that's crazy because like I feel like Ghibli movies are like known for their like settings and backgrounds. Like people use them as like their desktop backgrounds, and like just think of like Howl's bedroom. Like it's absolutely insane, the detail, and like it looks like a Renaissance painting versus like the just like very light, whimsical, like just childlike almost drawings of Ponyo that is the background. I think it fits it so well, and it's so different from a lot of the other movies.
Yeah, the art in that movie is just, it's very interesting because it's definitely like, I don't want to say it's an evolution of what he did in Totoro, because it's different than that. It's not an evolution because it's not like getting better and better or like adapting. It's just changing because it's a different movie, and it's like we want to do something a little bit different. I know another cool thing about another random trivia fact I have that I can just throw out there since we're talking about design was the fact that like the color designer basically kind of changed how in most animated films, when something is underwater, it looks different than when it's above water. Like if a character puts their hand in a bucket, like their color changes, it desaturates the color on their hands. And in Ponyo, they were like, well, we want Ponyo to look the same above water and underwater, because she looks different, it's going to feel weird. We don't want her to desaturate underwater. We want her to be as vibrant and colorful underwater as she is on land. And so it's one of the rare instances where like it's intentional that like the under the sea, anything that's underwater, anything that's above land looks really really vibrant and really really colorful. So like I was watching it on a special feature on the DVD, and I was like, oh, that's really cool, because I never thought about how it just looks different typically. Like even in Totoro, they showed an example from Totoro, and I was like, oh, that's cool. So they changed that specifically for this movie. So it's just, I love fascinating stuff like that about these films, how they just change up how they do things because they're like, you know what, this is a different movie, it's a different theme, let's just make it work for us as opposed to trying to just stick with traditional whatever. The only thing traditional they always stick with is like the hand drawn stuff. But other than that, they're like, we can change technique at any given time. So
yeah,
embrace change. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are looking to, or I guess if you watched Ponyo in preparation for this podcast and watched it on HBO, that's another reason to rent it, is for the special features and also so that you can hear Tina Fey and Liam Neeson, because they only have the Japanese voice actor version on HBO, since the distribution for Ponyo is owned by Disney. So you'll have to rent it to see it in English.
It's not on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's like
not
it seems like they have like the DVD, Blu-ray distribution rights for Studio Ghibli for whatever reason.
But
Just
digital
so
rights not, yeah.
No idea.
Weird. Well, I think it's probably about time to wrap up. You know, we want to keep these ones kind of short. You know, we're only talking about 2 movies at a time. I don't know what our next topic is going to be about. I'm thinking probably Kiki and Spirited Away, but I
think that's right.
I think that sounds right.
That's good.
I know we wanted to draw some like, you know, parallels between the older of our kid movies of Ghibli, you know,
our preteen movies.
Yeah,
our preteen movies. Yeah,
our coming of age.
Yeah, and I'm super excited.
Movies, you could call them
coming of age.
Yeah,
exactly. Because that's definitely what they are, and I'm super excited to like talk about, you know, my favorite, or what was my favorite. I don't know what my favorite is now. I guess I'll tell you at the end of this deep dive. But and then Spirited Away, which was something I had just watched, and then like, have you guys seen the like photos from the play that they're doing?
No.
They're doing.
I'm gonna have to look this up right after.
Yeah, you'll have to go look it up because they are gorgeous. Like some of the costume designs for the creatures, like what is it, like onion creature? I don't know what he is, but he looks like an onion. I don't know. And like, you know, no face, so cool.
Yeah, I've seen those pictures. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I sent them in our text message group or our Discord. I'm not really sure. But yeah, so I'm super excited for our next episode, and I'm really enjoying our Miyazaki deep dive. I think it was something that I didn't know I was missing, and I'm so excited to like share that like enthusiasm with the rest of the world, and like want you guys to like explore different types of animation styles, and you know, be willing to do that, because I think the themes in Miyazaki's are just out of this world. You know, like it goes on another level, and so definitely recommend these 2. I would definitely say Ponyo and My Neighbor Totoro should be on your bucket list. Do you guys agree?
Yeah,
yes.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think that's pretty all we have to say. I think any of the movies we're going to talk about with Miyazaki definitely be worthy of your bucket list.
Yeah, just watch them all. It only has like 10, so.
Yeah. So there's only 10 we're adding with you, but this deep dive's been fun, and I'm super excited to talk to you guys next week or 2 weeks from now. But thank you guys for joining us. My name is Gracie, and you can find me at Gracie May. That's with a Y and 3 E's on anywhere you see fit. Daryl, where can they find you?
You can find me at on the Twitter. Yeah, on the Twitter is where you can find me at Darth Daryl. That's Darth as in Vader, Maul, or Sidious. Take your pick. And Daryl, that's Darrell. I'm there sometimes, sometimes not. Please talk to me. Give me attention.
Rarely.
Give me a reason. Give me a reason to show up on Twitter. Come on, people.
Sarah, what about you?
I am snotty _person on Twitter if you want to see my wordles, and snotty.person on Instagram if you want to see more of my life. And both of those are snotty with an IE, not a Y.
And check us out on for our podcast updates and movie news, or just random gift sets, or just letterbox reviews at the Popcorn Bucket List on Instagram, and at TPB_podcast on Twitter, or just Google us, search us on social media, whatever you use. We're pretty much on it, except for TikTok. We're not there yet. And tune in to our YouTube channel if you want to see our beautiful faces. We'll be uploading this video version of the podcast on Fridays, I think. But yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.